at the Melbourne venues, or certainly the MCG and Marvel Stadium as well, which should probably be music to your ears.
Yeah, it's wonderful news. You know, like most in the AFL community, things have changed by the day in terms of crowd forecasts and restrictions, etc. So we're pretty conservative in our outlook not that long ago, but to have that number confirmed, yeah, for fans to get back to 50,000 at the G, it's wonderful. It's going to be a proud moment for us. We've got the opportunity to unfurl 2 flags, and now with that amount of people there in attendance, we'll be pressing ahead with our plans to doing that. We wouldn't have done that in front of, say, 10,000. Yep. So, look, but most important, it's great for the entire AFL community to get our fans, our members and fans back at the footy. It's a cause for excitement and optimism.
No doubt about that. So just confirming that 2 flags to be unveiled in round 1 for the traditional Richmond v Carlton game. It's going to be an exciting opportunity for Richmond fans, Richmond Victorian-based Richmond fans who weren't able to see their team live at all last year. No,
I mean it's the response of members last year was a phenomenon, really, to be honest. You know, we maintained our 100,000 membership rate, and effectively that was a donation. Let's be honest. For those who are in Queensland and South Australia, etc., Sydney, were able to see a little bit of footy live, but for people of all clubs to effectively donate their money to the club to support and sustain their club was incredible. It's a demonstration of the passion, I guess, of our supporters for our game.
Martin shakes off Jordan there and puts it inside, but well cut off by Tom Sparrow for the Demons as they look to slow things down here at half-back. You touched on the Queensland fans getting up to the game, obviously playing in front of a Gabba crowd in the grand final. What was that atmosphere like? It was an experience like no other, really. Look,
it was a long day, but once the hour or so before the game started, it just felt like a normal game. Well, it felt like a big final. It felt like a grand final. I think the nighttime atmosphere really added something to it, the way it was presented, and but it was a long day waiting. The game was a really intense, hard-fought game, like you'd expect in the final. There are a few punters a little worse for wear come 6 o'clock. I think they had a few 4Xs up there. It was a long day for a lot of people, but it was, we're very grateful to be able to get across the line at the end.
Do you feel like you had I suppose it's a bit of a silly question, but you had enough time to bask in the premiership glory because the season and the pre-season has come around so quickly?
Yeah, probably not. It was a really surreal experience because, the game finished late at night, obviously, which was a problem for a lot of people. A lot of people watching it back here and families, and we had to be on a bus, by about 12:30. We drove back to the Gold Coast and to our hub, it could have been Manangatang Football Club.
Yeah.
It was very laid back, and then within 48 hours, we're out of there. We had to go through a whole delisting process and exit interviews, and then you come back into Melbourne because you finish so late. Then you got financial year end, and you got to try and pick up all the pieces. Well, it was a really tough year for all of us, and then you're enlist man, and then all of a sudden it's Christmas. It's a. I'm not complaining.
Sure.
I'm not complaining.
We just saw some great transition play from the Ds, and have a look at this replay. Cade Chandler from the boundary, a left foot check side, slots his second. He's been outstanding today on the back of a massive pre-season. So good to see Chandler creating some opportunities as a small forward for the Demons.
Yeah, no, these kind of scratch matches, it's fans are interested certainly a lot about some of the younger players that they haven't seen too much of beforehand. Cade Chandler's right in that category for Melbourne, and he's delivered his third major today. The Tigers will get the clearance, though. Graham, handball to Castagna. He's chased hard by Langdon. Great chase that was. Castagna just able to get a hand pass off. Caddy sweeps to Cochin. Thought about giving it to Castagna. Gave it to Edwards instead. He does the team thing. McIntosh and Chol in front. And Chol receives some illegal contact and will go back from directly in front and to try and get the quick response for the Tigers, who trail by 13 points.
Just on your comment about Melbourne, the thing I've noticed today is that they're noticeably quicker.
Yeah.
I reckon they've obviously worked hard to inject some more leg speed into their list, into their game, and I think they're certainly reaping the benefits of that. early days, but they look noticeably quicker.
Yeah, and Sam Wiedemann told us in the first quarter there was a lot more emphasis on attack this year and moving the ball at speed. And you're right, that's certainly.
But even that chase down tackle on Castagna, Castagna has elite speed, and he was run down then. So
beautiful finish from Mabior Chol. So he gets the response for Richmond. That's his first goal of the game. Kicked 8 goals from 11 games last year, but one of those players like Josh Caddy last year, Jake Arts in particular, who had such a great experience in the hub during the home and away season, then because of the competition for list spots, Brendan, just lost their spot. Some of those players are going to be very, very hungry this year.
Yeah, they will be. They're a really important part of the performance last year because they really kept, they weren't playing proper practice matches, they weren't getting many opportunities to impress, but they really kept the mood up. Their enthusiasm and energy really bubbled sort of through the entire group, and they've taken that into the pre-season. Mabior was one of those players. If you're handing out Brownlow votes for pre-season, he'd be in the votes. He's really taken another step, and he's competed hard today. But I think he'll continue to build on the steps he took last year.
Culture's such a big thing for a club like Richmond. 3 flags in 4 years. It's no coincidence, and when you got that full group really working for each other, it makes a big difference, doesn't it?
Oh well, it's everything, Ben. Really, I mean, it's everything. Kicks, marks, and handballs are important, but it's about the ability to really connect as a team, and become really cohesive. And mate, we've got some really good players, elite players. We've got some role players, but together I think we're a pretty good team, and that's underpinned by a really strong culture. It can't be understated, but it's something you can't take for granted either.
So that kick has been chopped off there by Jake Lever, one of Melbourne's best performers today. And May, the last man before his defensive goal line marks. They switch it out towards Baker, but McIntosh is coming hard, but Baker had a good grasp of it, wasn't paid the mark. That ball goes over the line and out of bounds. So there was an article on the Richmond website yesterday, Brendan, that it's been 10 years since Richmond launched the Fighting Tiger Fund, which was to raise $4.5 million of debt and raise some resources for the football department as well. That was 10 years ago. Can you believe it?
Yeah, I can't. No, it's a really important step in our evolution. The club was caught in a bit of a doom loop. We didn't have the money to invest in our football team, and our football team weren't competing well enough, which meant we couldn't drive the business, which meant we couldn't have the money, and it was So we needed to raise money to sort of pay down debt that was choking us and invest in our footy program. And if I was going to be absolutely honest, Melbourne Football Club and Jim Steins provided the inspiration.
Right.
I can't remember what it was a big collision. I can't remember but they had a big capital raising debt demolition. It was the debt demolition. So that provided us with a great inspiration that if we can go with a real clear plan and explain to our sort of members and fans and stakeholders, what we're going to do, how we're going to invest this money and what sort of dividend we could expect to receive, that they'd buy in, and they did. We raised $6 million in a little over 18 months. It was the height of the GFC. So our people to support us, it was really, really important at that time. And it allowed us to pay down our debt. It allowed us to sort of improve our facility, have a VFL team, retain really important players. And I'd like to think, those members, those investors have got a dividend. They've got a dividend. And so a really important part of our development as a club.
Saw Jackson crash into that pack at half-back. May got up slowly, but he's staying out on the field, which is a good sign for Deeds fans as Harms tracks that down and sees it over the line for a second boundary throw-in. Sort
of quintessential Jack Revolt leap in the middle of that as well, making May earn that. But he's just a little ginger, looking maybe a slight cork to the hip. He was just sort of limping on that left side. So the ball will be tossed back in about 70 metres out from goal. Jackson in front, got the tap down. Graham tries to pounce on it. Langdon sweeps it out. Coleman Jones looks like he's having a bit of a run on the ball as well for Richmond. Here he is, Callum Coleman Jones. And that's Gallucci, I reckon, is having a run as well. He's kicked that high. And Arts running back with the flight has taken the mark 45 metres out from goal. Chol is deep, one-on-one with May. And now Arts plays on. Kicks it high towards the top of the goal square. It has the legs. Rewalt was right there. And just touched before it went over the line and through for a minor score.
It's a former Tiger and David Roden down there.
Yes.
You think he might have just called that one through?
Or if he had his Demon hat on, of course, former Demon, former Port Adelaide.
Oh, he was, wasn't he? Yeah, he's got all bases covered.
Yeah, he does. Playing for the David Roden Cup today.
Saw the man in the mark rule come into play there, where Arts was just able to get around Rivers and get a little bit of extra yardage, so able to get that one through. But as you touched on, Benny, we've got Gallucci and Coleman Jones out there now, so they will get the chance to play another 3/4 or thirds after this one, with a second game coming up.
Callum Coleman Jones is a player we think very highly of. He obviously made an error of judgment last year, and he paid a heavy penalty, but he's a player we expect to, particularly with Ivan Soldo, sort of being out for most of this year, to really grasp an opportunity. He can play forward, ruck, beautiful mark of the ball, great competitor. We'd like to think he can take a real step forward this year.
Yeah, he obviously got sent home from the hub early, but I'm hearing he worked incredibly hard back in Adelaide, put in plenty of work, and it's going to be good to watch him in this second game, because he has plenty to offer for the Tigers.
Be a great experience for him playing against Max, I think, today. It'll be wonderful.
So he's Coleman Jones gets his way to the front. Rivers gets the crumb, but kick was smothered off the boot. Melbourne's taken a little bit high. It's Thompson Dow, number 27 for the Tigers. That's a kick. Oh my gosh, from Dustin Martin. He's hit Hugo Ralphsmith with an incredible centering ball.
He almost put it into the space to make Hugo run to, didn't he? He's remarkable.
He comes for a well-earned break, Dustin Martin. Just a couple of signs from Martin that we've seen today shows that he's not slowing down in 2021. So Ralphsmith, who Damien Harbick said, he's got a bigger body and a bigger mullet this off-season. Got about 45 metres to cover. Covers it easily.
You're getting old. I played against his father, Sean, who had a great career with, started with Hawthorn but went to St Kilda, but he's a wonderful athlete, Sean. And Hugo is certainly a chip off the old block in that regard. He's a beautiful mover.
May brings the ball back in. We see there another new rule this year. The man on the mark from a kick-in is an extra 5 metres back, so gives the defender an opportunity to really launch his side into attack, and we're seeing that now with Oliver on the wing. He moves it to Neil Bullen, plays on quickly. Petrarca's got McDonald on a good lead.
Oh, yes.
And McDonald marks 40 out on a 45-degree angle.
There's that quicker ball movement through the middle. Again, working for the Ds. Tom McDonald able to take the mark.
You'd be pleased to know, gents, I just got a text message from my boss, the president.
Yes.
He reckons I'm commentating too much.
Oh.
So Peggy's listening. I was talking to her before, but she said I've got too much to say. So
it's a bit hard. I do want to ask you though, Brendan, I have to bring you back in. It's a big game for the AFLW girls tonight, Richmond and Geelong. A big opportunity. They were so close to getting their first win last week. They'd fancied themselves to get their first win today.
It is a big game. It's an exciting opportunity. Look, we've played some pretty good teams this year, but we've built every week. Our game plan is becoming more evident. I think it really come to the fore last week. That sort of set up behind the ball, repeat entries, and so we want to see improvement there. We want to see individual improvement as well, and we're going to get there. Maybe tonight, it may not. But it's really exciting. I had a bit of a stymie last week, so I couldn't make the game, but I watched it on TV, and towards the end, I was almost throwing things at the TV, and it was a really good game of footy. And people are becoming more and more invested emotionally as we grow and develop. So great chance tonight.
As you mentioned, the girls have played some good teams, some real senior teams in Collingwood, Carlton, Melbourne. But I think the important thing for Richmond as an expansion team is they've been able to hit the scoreboard, which has been a challenge for some other younger teams. So I think that win is just around the corner.
Yeah, even we've had a few games where we just haven't converted, and like, at the level we're at, that conversion and the confidence you build from the scoreboard is so important. So, we had our chances against Collingwood a couple of weeks ago at Punt Road to win it. But we just didn't take those chances. But they're getting better, which is great. We're very proud of them.
So again, the D's have moved the ball through the middle of Casey, ended with Petrarca, and he's found Baker. He's tucked up in the pocket here. He's a natural right footer, so this any pocket in Casey's tough to kick from, but in particular, let's see how Oscar Baker goes. 3 games last year, as Benny Gibson mentioned, trying to cement his spot in the senior team in the wing position. Goes right towards the top of the goal square. Gawn is there. Spargo tries to get a boot to ball. Short, happy to rush it through for a minor. So it's a 11-point lead for Melbourne, 12-9 at Richmond 10-10.
Starting to see some of the younger Richmond boys filter onto the field now. We're going to see them for the next 3 quarters, but a good opportunity for them to play against the Melbourne A team.
Yeah, he's one of them.
Yeah, train-on player in Jordan Gallucci, former Crow, wins the free kick there. So, yeah, he's got a fair bit to offer at AFL level, Gallucci.
Yeah. High draft pick from the Eastern Rangers a couple of years ago, Jordan Gallucci. Harms sends it up towards half forward. Oh, what a fly over the top. Coleman Jones stuck the 1 mid up and pulled in a great mark. And he's got the Tigers, most importantly, off and running through the middle of Casey. Thompson Dow, inside 50. Arts back with the flight. Well, in the end, Rivers did his best not to try and give away a free kick, but just got his opponent a little too high. So Arts has the free kick. Gawn's gone down behind the play, just in front of your screen. McIntosh talking with the umpire. But Arts. Good confidence boost to that mark as well for Coleman Jones, sticking the 1 mid up just before. Wrong side for a right footer. Lots of big bodies on the goal line. That's where it's heading. Chol, Lynch, Revolt. Take your pick. Chol got highest. Who's going to get lowest? So, non-controlling umpire in the middle of the ground has paid that. A free kick for a hold off the ball to Melbourne. Looks like James Harms will be the recipient.
So Harms out of the full-back line. Neat little pass to Ed Langdon. So Demons 11-point leaders here. We've got 12 minutes to go in the final term. Be interesting to see how they play this one out, whether they want to keep trying to attack or, they use practice matches these days to almost trial different game type scenarios. So might look to take some time off the clock as the ball goes down to the wing, but Broad is in the way.
It's quite incredible how long the quarters seem compared to last year.
Absolutely.
They're going forever.
Yeah.
Take a little bit of getting used to. Not long, but a little bit.
And our day's just halfway now. So plenty more footy to see on this live stream between the D's and the Tigers here at Casey Fields as Jake Lever gets it once again.
Brendan, how are your energy levels heading into 2021, considering that it's the shorter turnaround from late October last year into round 1 this year?
No, really good. Really good. It's something... Being involved in footy, your biorhythms, and as the season approaches, the playing season, weather cools down a little bit, you start to really pick up. But no, we had a good break. We closed the office for a good 4 weeks over Christmas, the administration, etc. So no, we're good. Ready for another year. It's going to be a really exciting season. I mean, there's so many teams that have got a story. They've got a claim on a premiership. They've got a story why they can win it. It's going to be extremely competitive, and it's exciting to be back home.
Yeah. The Tigers are once again, according to the pundits, will be right up amongst the premiership favourites again as they aim for a 4th flag in 5 years as Lynch flew high. Coleman Jones, good crumbing from the big man at ground level. Handball set Lynch free. He goes to Revolt. Ball just jumps short. Revolt will look for the centering kick with the check side. That's an interesting centering kick. Might work out okay for Arts. Left foot snap round the body, kicks the goal. Jake Arts with the goal for Richmond, and he draws the scores within 5 points with 10 minutes left in the fourth quarter.
Even some great work by Coleman Jones.
Yeah.
Just like he's 200 centimetres, but he's ability to work on the ground below his knees is very good, and he just sort of made something out of nothing then, and he's a good young kid.
All right, Brendan, it's been a pleasure having you with us. Good luck for 2021.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, all the best. Yeah.
Thanks very much.
Brendan Gale, the Richmond Chief Executive, joining us on this live stream across the Melbourne and Richmond websites. The D's holding a 5-point lead. Some nice bit of crumbing from J Carts, but as we come towards the end of the official first game, Benny, we've got some. We've got a bit of a close contest. At the Bulldogs Hawthorn game, Chris Newman spoke afterwards. When the scores get close, even in a scratch match, teams still want to win. The competitive juices start flowing. So interesting last 10 minutes coming up.
Absolutely. We saw Gawn and McIntosh in a bit of a push and shove before. Yeah, these boys are keen, and you see Baker crush in there. Great tackle from Charlie Spargo. He's won himself a free kick here for holding the ball. That's that forward pressure we spoke about from Spargo. That's what he brings to this side. And now he's going to have to convert this one for the Demons from 20 metres out on a slide angle. But we have spoken about the Tigers getting some fresh legs onto the ground. So they've got Marlon Pickett out there now. He's just jumped onto the wing. Some fresh faces that will try to finish this game off for Richmond before having another crack in about half an hour's time.
So what time? So the second game, what time will that be starting, Benny?
Approximately 12:30. We're going to roll into game B. So Charlie Spargo here slots that one through and pushes the lead back out to 11 points for the Demons. 8.5 minutes to go here in this final term. So the Demons, they've got a few outs today. In terms of an injury list, we've got Jake Melksham. He's expected to miss another 2 weeks with a hamstring injury. We know Ben Brown and Sam Wiedemann will miss the early part of the year. Viney had a little foot operation a couple of weeks ago, so they're hoping he'll get a game under his belt at some point, but he's out today, as is Angus Brayshaw, who he's started main training. Had obviously a setback late last year with that foot, went down in round 15, but he won't be too far away. Michael Hibbard, a little bit of ankle soreness. Joel Smith, a bit of hamstring soreness. So they're the main outs. Of course, Marty Hoare and ACL as well. But a pretty strong Richmond side out there today.
Yeah.
The names we're missing are probably Dion Prestia with a hamstring. We've got Basher Hooley, Daniel Rioli, and Kane Lambert, who we spoke to earlier on. But apart from that, we're seeing most of the big names for the Tigers out on display.
And some of the younger names in the middle here, Ross and Dow included in that. Art streaming off the half-forward flank. Inside 50, Coleman Jones came out to meet it. Keeps it at ground level. Jetta applying the tackle on Castagna. 7 minutes remaining. It's an 11-point lead for Melbourne. But Tigers within striking distance, undoubtedly.
The Tigers got the young players out there, but the fresh legs. So it'll be interesting to see how they go around the stoppages here as Rivers just gets that one out of the area. He will soccer off the ground towards Charlie Spargo, who sees it over the line and out of bounds. 11-point game.
Here through our effects mic there. Take it out, Spargs. Take it out. And Spargo was able to achieve that for Melbourne. Just under 7 minutes remaining. Boundary throw in. Chol v Jackson. Nicely done by Jackson and Oliver. Petrarca thumps it forward with authority to Spargo. What about the pickup? Neil Bullen. Back to Petrarca. Has Baker short, but Petrarca knew that Baker was hot. Good decision. Salem marks.
Slow the play down a little bit. Get some hands on the footy and take a bit of sting out of this game. We've got Baker. He's been promising today.
Yeah.
Always moving along the wing there, so he'll be looking to keep getting his hands on the footy and lock himself in this side. So down the line to...
Whoa! Big fly over the top. Dylan Grimes had the sit and easily able to take the intercept mark.
We see Patrick Nash for the first time.
Yep. Paddy Nash, father-son pick.
Bright blue boots, hard to miss him.
Oh, yeah. He's a favourite amongst the Richmond players. Looking for Coleman Jones. Straight off him. Graham, good crumb. Dow. Coleman Jones. Inside 50. Art's going back. Had to sit. Couldn't quite take it cleanly. Then able to pick it up. Don't think he's going to kick a second goal in a row. Round the body. Uses the breeze. Tigers get the goal. So back within 5 points. And dare we say it in a practice match, a slight grandstand finish coming up.
Tell you what, he's been pretty impressive today.
Yep.
Jake Arts. So... yeah, another goal there for him, and as we see a replay of that Grimes mark. It was a big inset mark to send the Tigers back into attack. And just slips the tackle there, Arts, and does the rest on the right. So, crafty player, a solid finish. And we've got a young Richmond midfield here with Chol in the ruck. And a big centre clearance coming up because 5-point game, 5 minutes to go.
Yeah, no, it's a rip-up. So just confirming as well, if you're just joining us, Brendan Gale, Richmond Chief Executive, joined us at the start of this fourth quarter, confirming with the state government's decision to allow 50% capacity at the two major Melbourne venues in Marvel Stadium and the MCG, that Richmond will unfurl both of its premiership flags in round one against Carlton. The 2019 and 2020 premierships. That's going to be exciting. Speaking of exciting, Jackson handballs it off to Fritsch and he dribbles it through for a goal. Beautifully done by the D's. They get the quick response at the other end. Fritsch, I've got that down for another goal for him. That's 3 goals I've got for Bailey Fritsch.
And just great roving there, front and centre by Chandler. He's clean, good hands, got Jackson. And Jackson's ability to contest in the air and then get busy at ground level, of course, was important there as Fritsch puts one through, and a good response by the D's.
And the other piece of news as well, Tim Lamb, the Melbourne list manager in the third quarter, letting us know that the D's at this stage will probably use one list spot up by the pre-season supplemental selection period prior to March 9, and are likely to take a mid-season draft spot, take a pick to that mid-season draft in the middle of the season, obviously.
Of course, with the option to put Marty Hoare, who's got an ACL injury.
So there's officially not 3 list spots open up.
No,
yes.
but they could make Marty Hoare an inactive player.
Yeah.
Likely to be out for the season with that ACL. So a bit of work to do for Tim Lamb, the list manager, as they've got Mad Jack Dore as an option.
Yeah.
He won't be playing today, but a train-on player to potentially fill a forward role early in the season.
Good opportunity for Kobe Farmer later. Stick around for that. Fritsch, we almost had a good look at a 4th goal. Grimes was brought down by Fritsch. Players converge on the footy now. Oliver feeds it out towards McDonald. Bolter, though, on the left will clear. Gorn in the hole. Backing back, though. Got in front of Coleman Jones. Allowed Lever to clear it away. Nathan Jones had a really important couple of clearances in the past couple of minutes. Neil Bullen inside 50. Jackson in front. Went beyond him. Short v Spargo, and Short able to get there first. His hand pass. Didn't quite find the teammate. McDonald keeps it alive. He bounces on the ball, and I think both teams will be happy to see a ball up just inside the Demons forward arc. 2.5 to play. D's by 11 points.
Great forward pressure there by the D's. That's what they'd want from the small forwards in Charlie Spargo and Kate Chandler. Kasai Pickett, unfortunately, has headed home for his mother's funeral, so condolences to his family. But those 2 young boys getting a chance in his absence and doing a very good job.
Nice handball out there from Nathan Jones. Langdon working with Jeddah. Naish, Ralph Smith, Naish. Neil Bullen chops it off. So D's now with 2 minutes to play. Tigers really needed to get a goal out of that foray from half-back there, but nicely chopped off by Neil Bullen. Probably saved the day, although this Casey Breeze can play tricks. In front, Broad takes the mark.
Definitely held up there. Well read by Broad in front.
Coleman Jones. Oh, that kick set Bolter a task. Arms will come up to meet it. We'll paddle further along towards Gallucci. Bolter, though, kept it moving. Oh, a nice handball over the top. Pickett's first real good look at it here. Bumped off the ball. Harms, Oliver. Combined via hand. He goes into the middle, and Neville Jeddah can hold it up for the D's.
Might take a bit of sting out of this game here. So, minute 10 on the clock. Counting down these final moments. This last quarter of game A here at Casey Fields as Jones chips backwards to Tomlinson, who's been playing a lockdown role in defence today. He's certainly a versatile player. I think the club recruited him as a wingman, but that didn't work out as probably as he would have liked throughout last season, and was able to find some good form in defence late in the year.
Yeah, rounds 10 to 18 last year, he really had a big influence down back. His intercepting and ability to spoil paying dividends for the D's. So, final 40 seconds here. Lever dropping back into the hole, as he has done all day today. Jones getting some important last quarter touches. There is Tomlinson looking for Harms. Caddy at the back. Brings it to ground. Harms wrapped up by Pickett. Gorn again going strong. Look at the pick up from Petrarca. And then, if you don't mind, the handball over his head behind towards Hunt. And Chandler attacked it hard. He's really put his hand up for round one selection today, Cade Chandler. Oliver goes inside, looking for Spargo, coming the other way. Nicely played by Naish. Langdon couldn't quite find a teammate in time, but that is full time in game A, and that's a really good hit out from the Demons and for the Tigers as well. But for the Demons to get the win against a really strong Richmond side is outstanding. They win the D's 14-9, 93 to Richmond 12-10, 82.